Hello and welcome to Learn Maths with Bola, and in this tutorial I'll be explaining expansion of algebraic expression. So in this video I'll explain how to expand algebraic expression, and this video will be a beginner's video simplified to the core. Now let's look at this expression. 4 times 3a plus 5. It simply means that add 3a plus 5 in 4 places. If you remember in your multiplication, when we say 4 times 5, that means add 5 in 4 places. So let's add 3a plus 5 in 4 places. So we have 3a plus 5 plus 3a plus 5 plus 3a plus 5, and then you have plus 3a plus 5. So we are adding it in first 4 places. Then the next step from BODMAS, let's open the bracket. So we have 3a plus 5 plus 3a plus 5 plus 3a plus 5 and plus 3a plus 5. Now the next thing for us to do is to collect like terms. And what are like terms? We bring the similar ones together. So the similar ones here, you have all the 3a's. They look alike, or let me say they are the same. So let's bring all of them together to have 3a plus 3a plus 3a plus 3a. Then the next thing to do, 5. They also look alike. They are all constant. In the previous video, for people that do not understand what some of these terms, you kindly watch the previous video where I explained each of these terms so that it can make the journey easier. So we have 5 plus 5 plus 5 in 4 places like that. So let's write them out one after the other. So simply, what do we do next? We have 3a plus 3a plus 3a plus 3a will give us 12a. Then when you add all the 5s, you have 20. So this is simple way to just explain the expression, what we were asked to do. But then, why do you have to go through the trouble when there is an easier way? I'm sure every student loves to go through the easier route whenever you want to solve a maths equation. So the expression again, 4 times 3a plus 5. Let's go on to follow the expansion of an algebraic expression, which is the core of our video today. So we have 4 and 3a. Like the arrow is showing, multiply 4 by 3a, or multiply 4 and 3a to have 4 times 3a. And then the next thing, remember that the sign in your brackets matters a lot, and like it's circled on your screen, you have addition sign. So we put the addition sign after the 4 times 3a, and then we go on to say 4 times 5, which will give us this simple expression. So we have multiplied everything in the bracket by 4. That is the expansion that we are talking about. So we have 4 times 3a will give us 12a plus 20, which is 4 times 5. So can you see there is an easier route? Instead of adding numbers in multiple places and then you can have errors. So let's go on and let's look at a simple algebraic expression of the form m into brackets a plus b. So when you expand, it will become ma plus mb. And your guess is as good as mine. Using the previous method, we just multiply everything in the bracket by m. And then when you have a subtraction sign in between, you have ma minus mb. Let's solve more examples, especially when algebraic expressions can take different forms. Now you have the first example, example 1. 2 into bracket 4 plus b. And please remember that even though the multiplication sign is not written between 2 and the bracket, it's still multiplication. Remember your board mass. So as solution, let's solve this together. Very simple, and I want to assume you solved it even before I solved mine on the screen, but still, let's go on together. We have 2 and 4. That will give us 2 times 4 plus 2 times b, right? So our 2 times 4 will give us 8, and our 2 times b will give us 2b. Very simple. Let's take a similar example to this to reinforce the learning. We have 6 into bracket a plus 5. Simple and easy. So you have 6 times a plus 5 times 6, or 6 times 5. Remember that multiplication is commutative. You can swap them. So we have 6 times a is 6a plus 30. So this is another simple expression solved in a twinkle of an eye. Then we want to solve something different. Let's go on to solve a subtraction sign expression. So we have 3 into bracket v minus 3. Let's multiply. Remember I said it before that there is a multiplication sign between your 3 and the bracket. So we have 3 times v. The minus sign, don't forget that. Then 3 times 3. So our 3 times v is 3v minus 9. Let's go on again. Another different thing. Now your 9 is before and the w is after, but don't forget that this is still a subtraction sign. Whenever you are solving an algebraic expression or any mathematics equation, be very careful with the sign. Your sign matters a lot. And so while solving this, we'll have 4 times 9 minus 4 times w. So we have 36 minus 4w. Now example 5, something different. Our minus 3 is carrying the minus while we don't have any subtraction in the bracket. So at this point, I tell my students, be calm, don't be confused. It's still the same thing with everything we have been doing from the beginning of this video. So let's solve this. As simple as multiply the two numbers minus 3 and 4. Then don't forget the addition sign in the middle. Don't change the sign in the middle until you solve the equation, and then probably it becomes a subtraction. Always remember that you keep the sign constant except there is need for change, and you see what I mean by that. Now you add, then you put in bracket minus 3 times m. I love using brackets when you have expressions like this where the two signs may want to follow each other. So our minus 3 times 4 is minus 12 plus minus 3 times m. Don't forget that minus 3 times m, because you have a minus sign in front of 3 and you have a plus sign in front of m, I've written the multiplication of two signs. So when you are multiplying a minus sign and a number with a positive sign, then the result will give you a negative sign. So we have minus 3m in brackets. Then let's simplify this to have minus 12. Then again, you have a plus sign in between and a minus before the coefficient of your m. Don't forget, our minus 3 is a coefficient, and I explained coefficient in the previous video I spoke about earlier. So you have plus times minus now, and like the sign is still on the screen. When you have plus times minus, the result is still minus, so we'll have minus 3m. Let's take another example to reinforce this learning. So let's see something. We have minus 5 into bracket 6 minus a. This is a little bit different from the previous example, but the method are still the same. And I want you to be calm and let's do this together. We have minus 5 into bracket 6 minus a. So we've been doing, just multiply the number before the bracket and the first number in the bracket, then you have minus 5 times 6. Don't forget what I said about not changing the sign. Keep it as subtraction, then open a bracket and do minus 5 times a. Minus 5 times a. Now we want to expand this to have minus 5 times 6. Don't forget that 5 is carrying a subtraction sign, 6 is carrying an addition sign, and when you multiply subtraction and multiplication, two numbers carrying those different signs, you have the negative sign. So we have minus 30, then minus times minus now. Oh sorry, don't let us open the bracket, let's do it one after the other. Then we have the minus sign comes down, then you have minus 5 times a, which will give us minus 5a. So then we go on to write minus 30, then you have the minus times minus, and when you look at the screen, the minus times minus sign will give you addition. So when you have the subtraction sign and they are multiplying it by a number that has the subtraction sign, then it becomes addition. So we have plus 5a. So like I keep saying to my students anytime I teach mathematics, take it one step at a time. Always do it one step after the other. Then we have solve e into bracket 3 minus e. Solve e into bracket 3 minus e. Now this is a little bit different, not in the sign but in the results. So let's do it together. E times 3 will give us, then we have minus e times e. I assume that we already got the method of expanding, multiplying. So let's go on to have e times 3 as 3e. So we are multiplying 3 times e to get 3e minus, now when you have e times e, 2e, no, it is not 2e, it is going to be e raised to power 2. So this time we have e raised to power 2. Please keep that in mind. Many times students want to just write 2e because I have been doing something about addition before, or because many of them just think e is 2, we have 2e here, so they just write 2e. This is e raised to power 2. If you have e plus e, then you can write 2e, but if you have e times e, then you have e raised to power 2. Please keep this in mind. So let's take another example that is similar to the previous one but with a little twist, and don't worry, you get it. So let's go on. We have 3a into bracket a plus 4. Simple procedure like what I've explained previously. You have 3a times a plus 3a times 4. Very simple. Now, like I explained in the previous video, you are not going to be adding your 3a and your a because this is multiplication. So you have 3a times a will give us 3a raised to power 2. Please keep that in mind. A lot of times students get things wrong at this point. So it is 3a raised to power 2. If you watch the previous video on indices, you would understand this better. So 3a raised to power 2 plus 3a times 4 is equal to 12a. As simple as that. So because you are multiplying 3a only with 4, you have 12a. That means you multiply the coefficients and the constants, or like I explained in the first example that I did, where you have 3a times 4 means multiply, or let me say add 3a in 4 places. So when you add it in 4 places, you have 12a. Then 3a times a will give us 3a squared. Then let's take the last example. We have solve minus 2a into brackets a minus 6. So let's do this. We have minus 2a times a. Then remember the minus sign comes in between. Then we have minus 2a times 6. So once again, minus 2a times a will not give you a. That is if you are dealing with the signs. This time you have minus 2a raised to power 2. Then you have the minus sign, and you have minus 2a times 6, which will give you minus 12a. So next we want to eliminate these two subtraction. We have minus 2a squared, then minus times minus. Remember from the signs that I already wrote on the screen, that you can view on the screen rather. You have minus times minus will give you plus. So you have 12a. So I bet you understand the basic or the basis of expanding algebraic expression from this video. And the tip to always remember is to take it one at a time. Don't be tempted to jump steps. I tell my students all the time in mathematics, especially when you are just getting a hold of a lot of in fact, when you are a pro, many times you can solve an equation and then you are thinking, where did I get it wrong? Why? Because a lot of times we want to jump steps. So always remember to take it one at a time, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel, because in the next video I'll be sharing how to expand more complex algebraic expression, and we'll be using the 3 different methods of expansion. Thank you for watching. Bye.